truth with Pure Power Chord. The truth. The truth. The truth. The truth. The truth. Do you want to hear the truth? Do you want to hear the truth? Do you want to hear the truth?
Good morning. Today's talk is going to be called Giving Up. And it's all too common for people to give up on their dreams, goals, and hobbies before they even get a chance to get started properly. Because let's face it, all good things take time. And it may be difficult for us to wait, whether it be fear of failure, lack of motivation, or simply not believing in yourself. Many people find it hard to stay motivated and determined when faced with obstacles, especially. And also, if you think about it, in today's fast paced world, where instant gratification is now the norm, societal standards are questionable and patience is limited. Giving up often seems like an easier option, right? Unfortunately, this attitude of quitting at the first sign of a challenge prevents us from achieving our goals and limits our potential. I've also found that in life, in my things that I've done, and I mean, I've done thousands of different things that failed and a few things that did work. But what I did realize is those things that I did succeed in, I just persevered that little bit longer. And that's usually when a breakthrough comes, when you persevere just that little bit longer. Okay, even though the reasons you give up can easily vary, they aren't tied up to your personality. That means you can actually change it. So let's get into it. So, our first question is why do we give up so easily? And this brings me to my first point. It's because we have unrealistic expectations, not so. If you have unrealistic expectations, you might find it difficult to reach goals and persevere through any hard times that you may go through. Having unrealistic expectations can significantly impact a person's life. They can be a major source of frustration, disappointment, and also stress. They can be related to nearly anything in life. For example, you might have unrealistic expectations about your relationship, about your job, yourself, or basically anything else. Setting our goals too high or expecting too much from ourselves or others can lead to feelings of, I'm not good enough, I'm overwhelmed, and I feel like giving up. Not so. Well, they're also usually based on false beliefs about what we should be able to achieve in a certain amount of time. But this is written nowhere in any book. This is what we prescribe for ourselves and others sometimes. They can form during childhood and stay with us, or we may have created them throughout our lives. But if we have unrealistic expectations of anything, we can expect frustration that we're not achieving what we would expect us to achieve. Okay, they might seem reasonable initially, but they soon become unrealistic when reality fails to meet them and it finally sets in. It's important to recognize when your expectations are out of line with reality so you don't end up feeling disappointed and discouraged. There's some examples of unrealistic expectations. Thinking everyone will like you. Believe me, especially in music, mostly nobody likes you. This is unrealistic because it's impossible that everybody you meet in life will like you. There's always someone that doesn't like you. There's always someone you don't like. Let's be quite honest. There's personality clashes. The list goes on and on. I'm also thinking that marriage should be easy. It should be like a breeze, a walk in the park, like you see on the movies. Everything just goes hunky dory, and there's music in the background, and you're all eating at fancy restaurants while this is all going on. But this is not realistic, is it? Um, and also the thought that you should eat healthily 100% of the time. We all know that's not the case. I mean, often I slip over to the shop and I get some chocolates when no one's watching. So, or we might have begun a fitness journey. Ask me. I know I also started a nice fitness journey. It was going well. And then what happened is I jumped off and I ain't doing that anymore. So you see, we need to get our thinking right and realize that sometimes we do slip up and sometimes things take longer than expected. Right. And the next point I'm going to come up with here is you lack self-discipline. Let's be honest, if you can't get up in the morning and make your bed and walk out the door and get to whatever it is you're doing on time, there's no way you're ever going to succeed at anything. And I see many people doing that nowadays. They just don't have self-discipline. People that can't be on time for meetings. Have you ever seen them? There's people high up in the country that are never on time for their meetings. So that just tells you. And look at the response they're getting from the public. The public do not take people seriously that lack self discipline. If someone is late for an appointment with you, the first thing you're thinking, well, they don't really value my time, do they now? So, how can I be effective when I don't have self discipline? This brings me to my third point, which is you need external validation to feel fulfilled. Okay, we all have a need to be accepted and validated by others. It's a normal human thing that still, when we need becomes too excessive, it can lead to feelings of insecurity, low self worth, and low self esteem. Believe me, be in the music business, you'll soon find that out. And this is the problem. And I think as you get older, you don't really need that validation as much. As you mature in life, things are a lot easier to accept, and you don't really care what people think. So as you get older, I think this one becomes less. That's just my personal feeling about it. This type of thinking can create unhealthy dependence on external approval, leading us to seek validation from others to feel good about ourselves. It can also cause us to become overly critical of our own actions, comparing ourselves with others, and feeling inadequate if we don't measure up to what we think is now the bar. Unfortunately, seeking external validation too often may leave us empty and unfulfilled. No outside approval or success will ever be enough if we don't learn how to validate ourselves internally. And my fourth point is you feel burnt out. Now, this is very common in today's society. Feeling burnout is a common experience for most of us. It can be caused by long hours at work. We know now companies are now making the hours longer because they're not meeting their deadlines, because people are lazy, they don't come to work on time, and you know the story. And this can cause a lot of stress and a feeling of being overwhelmed by the number of tasks you need to complete in a day. Life itself can be the cause of burnout. And it's a constant roller coaster of uncertainty, which causes a lot of stress. Burnout can feel intensely draining, as we all know. It can make you feel more emotionally unstable and like you want to give up, right? This feeling can bring physical symptoms such as back and neck aches, headaches, stomach pain, and disrupted sleeps. I know me as well. I know if I am burnt out, I cannot sleep. You would think you can, but you can't. It can affect and hinder all areas of your life, and burnout can lead to exhaustion, apathy, hopelessness, and eventually wanting to give up. Now, the last one I'm going to use today is you have an entitled mindset. An entitled mindset can be the reason you give up so easily. With an entitlement mindset, people tend to think they should get exactly what they want because of who they are. Additionally, they think the rules don't apply to them. Now, we see this often in today. As a result, they function with a sort of you owe me or the world owes me type of mentality. An entitlement mindset is dangerous as it can lead to feelings of superiority and arrogance, and we see this all the time. It's a belief that one deserves special privileges or treatment without having to work for it, which can damage a person both personally and professionally. People today in the workplace, and in many cases that I've been involved in, they think they need to get paid for attendance and not actually work. So, what does the Bible say? Well, the Bible encourages us not to give up and provides spiritual guidance on perseverance. Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. Galatians 6, verses 9. Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened. Do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Joshua 1, verses 9. And I can do all things through him who strengthens me. Philippians 4, verses 13. So, how then am I supposed to be successful? What gives me the motivation to persevere? And what assures me I will succeed? Well, there's only one way you can succeed. Proverbs 3, verses 6 to 8 gives the key to that. It says, in everything you do, put God first, and he will direct you and crown your efforts with success. That is the key to your perseverance. Without putting God first, there won't be any success. That's the reality of it all. Don't be conceited, sure of your own wisdom. Instead, trust and put reverence in the Lord, and turn your back on all evil. And when you do that, then you will be given renewed health and vitality. So, in other words, putting God first gives you that ability to persevere. Hope you've learned from this. Have a lucky week, man. Cheers.